Prologue. A name under fire for over 8 decades, the name, Washington Redskins, was a fixture in American sports, evoking fervent fan loyalty and a story, if complicated, history. Yet, for nearly as long, the name was a point of intense controversy, denounced by Native American advocates and allies as a racial slur that perpetuated harmful stereotypes. This documentary traces the arduous, decades-long journey from entrenched tradition to a landmark rebranding, a saga that encapsulates a nation's evolving conscience, the potent force of corporate activism, and the fragile nature of sports identity. Act 1. Decades of defiance and advocacy. The controversy is not a 21st-century invention. Criticism from Native American groups began as early as the 1960s. The team's ownership, from Jack Kent Cooke to Daniel Snyder, met this criticism with unwavering defiance. In 2013, Snyder delivered his definitive stance to USA Today. "We'll never change the name. It's that simple. Never." You can use caps. This position was often bolstered by reference to polls, like a 2004 Annenberg survey and a 2016 Washington Post poll, which suggested a majority of Native Americans were not offended by the name, though the methodology of such polls was later criticized by scholars. Meanwhile, a sustained movement was building. Activists like Suzan Harjo and Amanda Blackhorse led legal challenges to the team's trademarks, arguing they were disparaging. The National Congress of American Indians, NCAI, representing 1.2 million people, consistently opposed the name. Protests became a regular feature at games, and high-profile figures, including President Barack Obama in 2013, publicly suggested a change should be considered. For advocates, the term "Redskin" was inseparable from a history of violence, many associate it with the gruesome practice of bounty hunting for Native American scalps. As Harjo poignantly stated, the word translated to a permission for broader abuse. If it's permissible to say such things to us, then it is permissible to do anything to us. Act 2. The tipping point. Corporate pressure and a national reckoning. The dam of resistance finally broke, not through a courtroom verdict or a single protest, but through pressure applied directly to the franchise's financial lifelines. A key, less publicized strategy emerged from socially responsible impact investing. Beginning in the early 2000s, a coalition led by the Oneida Nation and allied religious investment groups began buying shares in the team's major corporate sponsors, FedEx, Nike, and PepsiCo. As shareholders, they filed resolutions and spoke at annual meetings, arguing that sponsoring a team with a racist name posed a reputational and financial risk. For years, this shareholder activism produced limited results. The transformative catalyst was the murder of George Floyd in May 2020 and the subsequent global uprising for racial justice. Corporations rushed to issue statements supporting diversity and inclusion, making their ongoing sponsorship of the Redskins starkly hypocritical. Seizing the moment, the Investment Coalition, now representing 85 groups with $620 billion in assets, sent forceful letters to the sponsors in late June 2020. The dominoes fell swiftly. July 2, 2020, FedEx, which held the stadium naming rights, publicly called for a name change. Hours later, Nike removed all Redskins merchandise from its website. July 3, 2020, the team and the NFL announced a thorough review of the name. July 13, 2020, the franchise announced it would retire the name and logo entirely, temporarily becoming the Washington Football Team. As one NFL commentator noted, the league's embrace of social justice would have been irreconcilable with housing a team name widely recognized as a racial slur. The change, forced by financial arm twisting, ended what was described as a long-standing embarrassment for the NFL. Act 3. The rebranding process. A clean break. The interim period as the Washington Football Team was a symbolic reset. Team president Jason Wright, the NFL's first black team president, emphasized that the new identity would make a clean break from Native American imagery, rejecting options like Warriors to avoid a slippery slope. The process was marketed as an 18-month collaborative effort with fans and community, though Native American leaders like NCAI President Fawn Sharp noted promises to include them in consultations were broken. On February 2, 2022, the new identity was unveiled, the Washington Commanders. The name was chosen for its connection to Washington, D.C.'s military history and for being easy to trademark. The press release focused on military symbolism and franchise history, making no mention of the racial controversy that necessitated the change. The reaction was mixed. Some celebrated the end of a dark chapter, while others found the new name corny or poorly considered, noting an unfortunate potential abbreviation to commies. For many activists, the change, while welcome, felt like an empty gesture, without substantive efforts at reconciliation or advocacy for other teams with offensive mascots to follow suit. Act 4. Aftermath and identity in flux. The rebranding did not instantly erase the past or solve all problems. New owner Josh Harris, who purchased the team in 2023, reaffirmed in 2024 that a return to the old name was off the table for obvious reasons. However, a 2024 Washington Post poll found a majority of local fans disliked the Commanders name, yet also did not favor a return to Redskins, leaving the franchise in a curious state of identity limbo. On the field, the team's performance remains a separate struggle. As seen in a game on December 1, 2025, the Commanders lost a thrilling overtime contest to the Denver Broncos, a result reflecting a challenging season. For fans, the game day experience is now free of the offensive imagery, but the team's identity is still being written, both in the standings and in the cultural landscape. Epilogue. A commanding change in a broader movement. The Washington rebranding saga is a microcosm of a larger national conversation about memory, respect, and representation. It demonstrates the powerful intersection of grassroots activism, corporate accountability, and seminal social moments. While the Atlanta Braves, Kansas City Chiefs, and Chicago Blackhawks continue to face scrutiny, the Commanders' journey proves that even the most entrenched symbols can change. The story is ultimately about more than a name. It's about who has the right to define identity, the real-world impact of language, and the complex, often painful process of a community, both a fan base and a nation, reckoning with its own history to build a more inclusive future. The final verdict on the Commanders name may still be out, but the decision to abandon Redskins marked an irrevocable and necessary point of progress.